So this reading is from 2 Kings, and I'm going to read and then talk a little bit in between. So if it's not exactly what you see on the screen, that's why. So 2 Kings chapter 5 starts. Naaman, a general for the king of Aram, was a great man and highly regarded by his master, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram. This man was a mighty warrior, but he had a skin disease. Now, Aramean raiding parties had gone out and captured a young girl from the land of Israel. She served Naaman's wife. So I don't want you to miss this. This girl was a slave. She was being held captive and forced to serve her captors. And she said to her mistress, "I wish that my master could come before the prophet who lives in Samaria. He would cure him of his skin disease." So somehow, incredibly, this slave girl, this captive, has the courage and the empathy to speak up. And so she speaks to Naaman's wife, and she talks to her husband, and Naaman went and told his master, who was the king of Aram, what the young girl from the land of Israel had said. Then Aram's king said, "Go ahead, I will send a letter to Israel's king." That's incredible. This king must have had high regard for Naaman, willing to send him into enemy territory, willing to pay for his treatment. And Naaman must have been desperate for a cure, that he would consider taking a chance like this. So Naaman left. He took along 10 kikars of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 changes of clothing. He brought the letter to Israel's king. It read, "Along with this letter, I'm sending you my servant Naaman, so you can cure him of his skin disease." And when the king of Israel read this letter, he ripped his clothes. He said, "What? Am I God to hand out death and life? But this king writes me asking me to cure someone of a skin disease. You must realize he wants to start a fight with me." So the king interprets this as an act of war. But when Elisha, the man of God, heard that Israel's king had ripped his clothes, he sent word to the king saying, "Why did you rip your clothes? Let the man come to me, and then he'll know there's a prophet in Israel." So Naaman arrived with horses and chariots. He stopped at the door of Elisha's house. Elisha sent out a messenger who said, "Go and wash 7 times in the Jordan River. Then your skin will be restored and become clean." But Naaman went away in anger. He said, "I thought for sure that he'd come out, stand and call on the name of the Lord, wave his hand over the bad spot, and cure the skin disease." Naaman had some pretty specific ideas about what he thought healing should look like. And he was kind of irritated too. He said, "Aren't the rivers in Damascus, the Abana, and the Pharpar better than Israel's waters? Couldn't I wash in them and get clean?" What, these people think they have better water than we do? Are they trying to start a war? So he turned away and proceeded to leave in anger. Then Naaman's servants came up and spoke to him and said, "Our father, if the prophet had told you to do something difficult, you would have done it. All he said to you was wash and become clean." So maybe that's Naaman's problem. Maybe it's that it seems too good to be true. It's just too easy. We don't know, though, how long he had suffered with this disease, how many false cures he had been given, how many times it had failed. So they convinced him to give it a try, and Naaman went down and bathed in the Jordan 7 times, just as the man of God had said. His skin was restored like that of a young boy, and he became clean. Naaman returned to the man of God with all his attendants. He came and stood before Elisha, saying, "Now I know for certain there's no God anywhere on earth except in Israel. Please accept a gift from your servant." Here ends the reading.